So does that justify everything that you do?
Excuse me, let me tell you something. What do you think they were doing it for? Because they were trying to save us from poverty? No, they did it because they needed us. It's honor and family and loyalty. And some of us wanted a piece of the action. Now, we weren't educated like the Americans, but we had the balls to take what we wanted.
Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another live edition of On The Go right here on Driving to the Top Productions, where I'm your host, Big Hoss, and I'm bringing the sauce this week. What's up, everybody? Yes, it's Tuesday. It is September 23rd, 2025, but I'm doing two shows again this week, and I thought, why don't I split it this week? I'm going to do mostly all my college talk tonight. And I got another preview for the NFL this week. Tomorrow I'll get to later. But what's up, everybody? Thank you for joining in on this Tuesday night. You know what to do. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. You can find me on X at BigHoss337. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. This show you can find on X and Instagram at OnTheGo_TXLA and Driving to the Top Productions. Subscribe to them on YouTube. Follow them on X at Driving to the Top. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram as well. Of course, this show is presented by Poggers, the #1 official vitamin supplement of On The Go. Whether you need energy, hydration, or sleeping products, go to poggers.shop. Tell them Big Hoss sent you. And there's that promo code right there, OTG, to get 10% off of your order. The official vitamin supplement of this show. On the Go is Poggers. We got a lot to talk about today and a lot of anger issues I got to get out. There's only a little bit of happiness I'm going to bring tonight. But let's not waste any time. I'm going to start it the opposite way. Let's start it in my state because I usually don't. But let's kick this show off in the 504. Let's kick it off in the Big Easy. Let's go. Well, it wasn't the best weekend for the Big Easy, but I'm going to start off on a slow note because I don't want to get no rants out right now. I did call this when I predicted it last week. We're going to kick things off with Tulane. I predicted Tulane was going to lose to Ole Miss, and boy, did they. But I'm not going to shit talk this team. You know, they played their hardest, and I don't think this is going to affect them. But they lost 45-10 in Oxford against Ole Miss. Couple recaps in this game for the Green Wave. I know they had 18 first downs, 282 total yards. I mean, that's not bad. 104 passing, 178 total rushing. Not bad. I mean, Jake Retzloff, I know the BYU transfer a couple weeks ago, he had the game of his life, 4 rushing touchdowns. Well, in this game, wasn't his best. This may have been his worst performance of the season so far. He went 5 for 17. And only threw 56 passing yards, where I was just glad he didn't get hurt or nothing because I didn't watch a single play of this game. And they put the backup in, Brendan Sullivan, who had 5 for 12 for the night, 48 passing yards, and only 1 touchdown pass the whole game. The only touchdown pass thrown to Anthony Brown-Stevens for 6 yards. And then, of course, the extra point and then a field goal to put 10 points for the Green Wave. I was concerned what was going on with Retzloff, but the good news is he was not injured. I think he just had a bad game. They pulled him out, put the second QB2 in, and he was able to throw a touchdown pass. Because I've seen pictures of their practices from earlier, and Retzloff is good to go for the next matchup. But it was just not a good night for the Green Wave, but they're looking to bounce back. This was only their first loss of the season, so they're 3-1 of the season. And they go into conference play this Saturday. They get ready for a big road test. They head out to Tulsa this Saturday to take on the Golden Hurricanes in now the American Conference. It's no longer the American Athletic. Remember, they shortened it to the American Conference. So yeah, Tulane is now 3-1 of the season. They're going to take on the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes, who shocked everyone last week. They defeated Oklahoma State 19-12. What was even bigger about this, after all, I don't know how many seasons he had at that school. But, you know, when it comes to an embarrassing loss, we know sometimes coaches will get fired. Well, after I think he had, after what, 20, longer than 20 years, he was a head coach for 20 years at Oklahoma State, but he's been with OK State since 2001. So about 24 years. Mike Gundy has been fired today after that loss to Tulsa. That's crazy. You spent 24 years in Stillwater. You were, I think you were like an offensive coordinator from 2001 to 2004. Then you were promoted to head coach in 2005. I'll never forget that iconic press conference speech in 2007 when he went off something about being 40 and it was all over YouTube. You have to check that out. But man, that was just crazy how that one loss can do that. I mean, shockingly, look at Dabo Swinney. They've lost there's 3 losses. He still got his job. I thought he'd have got fired after that loss to Syracuse. Billy Napier lost 3 in a row with the Florida Gators, and he still got his job. I guess that's just how it is. Maybe Mike's buyout was nothing like Dabo's or even Billy Napier's. So, but yeah, Tulsa shocked the system in the state of Oklahoma after 20 years as a head coach and 25 years at Oklahoma State University. Mike Gundy is officially gone as a coach, courtesy of those Golden Hurricanes. Well, Tulsa is welcoming in Tulane this Saturday. I want to say it's an early kickoff, 3 p.m. kickoff, by the way, on ESPNU. They're 2-2 of the season. Both these teams playing in their first conference game this season. A couple of impact players to watch from Tulsa. We got quarterback Baylor Hayes, who threw 542 passing yards this season, 3 touchdown passes, and 2 interceptions. Dominic Richardson, the running back, leads in rushing, 84 carries for 442 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Zion Booker leads in receiving for Tulsa, 29 receptions for 273 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. On the defensive side, Ray Coney at linebacker leads with 19 solo tackles, 30 assists, and 49 total tackles. And Elijah Green at defensive back, 3 interceptions this season for Tulsa. So Tulsa's got a good stacked roster, got a good stacked lineup. Going to be a nice little test for Tulane to go into conference play, because I figured, on all non-conference play action, they did fantastic, minus the loss over Ole Miss. You did beat 2 Power 4 schools. You beat Northwestern week 1, and you beat Duke last week. So, I mean, you had a great team so far. I mean, don't let this one loss affect you. This is going to make you a dangerous team when you go into conference play. But this will be the 21st meeting. And I'm going to root for these guys. Like, I'm going to keep rooting for them. I feel like Tulane, despite this one loss, this could still get them in the picture for American championship. And fingers crossed. A lot of people want to see Tulane in the college football playoff. It could be a potential playoff contender if they could keep it going. So we'll see what happens there. I got Tulane beating Tulsa this Saturday. Good luck to the Green Wave. They can get it done. Now, moving on. I'm not going to say much about this because I'm going to go ahead and say off the limb. Tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, my normal time, I'm going to be doing another Saints preview. This is my 3rd one this season. I'm going to be previewing the Saints matchup with the Buffalo Bills tomorrow night, and I got a guest coming on, the Buffalo Bills expert on Driving to the Top production himself, Jamie Malloy from Subway Conversations on his show with Joey. They talk Yankees, Mets, and then he also has a show on the Buffalo Bills. I forgot what it was called. I think it was the Buffalo something with Bills. I don't remember. Something with Bills Mafia or Buffalo Sports. But Jamie, you can check him out tomorrow night. We're going to be previewing that game. I already know how the outcome's going to come, because is the Saints really the worst team in the NFL right now? With what I saw this past Sunday, probably one of the most horrible games I've ever seen. Saints got their ass kicked in rainy Seattle, 44-13. All I'm going to say is Spencer Rattler, 28 for 39, 218 passing yards, one touchdown to Jake Stoll for 13 yards. And he still did not throw an interception, but he's still getting a lot of shit. The only shit I'm going to give to the Saints is that defense. The defense has allowed 90 points in 3 games. That is the most horrific shit I've ever seen.
And they don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that?
They even allowed a punt return for 95 yards for Seattle. 284 total yards, 205 passing, 84 rushing. Rushing ain't going to do that. It's the offensive line for the Saints, and it's the entire defense. And now you got to go to Buffalo this Sunday, an undefeated Buffalo team, a team that is not only favored to win the AFC, a potential Super Bowl contender, Super Bowl champion prediction for some people. You'll hear the rest of it tomorrow night with Jamie and I. I'm going to break down the game with the Seahawks a little more. I'm going to bring up my impact players and all that. I'm even going to do my NFL predictions on tomorrow's show. I'm just going to do college tonight. Well, I got my little stress release of what I wanted to do for the Saints now, but you'll hear the rest of it tomorrow night. Let's continue on. Let's get to some positivity because, man, I'm very happy to talk about this next one. Let's go to Tigerland right now. Let's take it to the 2-2-5 right about now. Well, I was in town this past Saturday. First game of the season for me in Death Valley, and we kicked ass. LSU got the win over Southeastern 56-10. The only takeaway I'm going to give of my night over there, it was hot as shit. I think I need to stop going to games in September because it don't get any cooler. It gets cooler when you're sitting and not moving a lot at night. But that walk back to the car, even when the moon is out, the humidity in Louisiana is it's undescribable. It is. I feel like this is what hell feels like right now. Like we're already in the second day of fall, and it's only 79 degrees outside. To me, that's like another version of 80 degrees. 80 or more is going to be hot as shit down here. We don't get real fall until, if we're lucky, mid-October, late October. By November, if we get a little cool fronts and whatnot, but it's not severe freezing. Now, last year, we got a little lucky with the fall. At the beginning of the year, we sure had a winter. We had a snowstorm and all that. Record-breaking snowstorms. But anyhow, I was in town. I was in Baton Rouge for this game. I stayed till halftime. I mean, this was an ass whooping like no other. LSU is for real this season. 32 first downs in this game, 530 total yards in this game, 395 passing yards, 135 total rushing yards. And let me acknowledge the defense real quick on one thing before we get any further. The defense this season has only allowed 37 points. That's how dope this defense was. Not just in this game, but all season long. Garrett Nussmeier, potential Heisman contender still. He went 25 for 31, 273 passing yards, 3 touchdown passes. He threw one to Berrien Brown for 17 yards, Xavier Thomas for 9 yards, and Bo Sharp for 23 yards. Even Garrett Nussmeier had 5 carries for 10 yards, and he had 1 rushing touchdown to start the game off. They even put them back up in the second half. Michael Van Buren Jr. went 10 for 12, 122 passing yards. He had 1 touchdown pass to Kyle Parker for 27 yards. He also had 4 carries for 16 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. And, man, I forgot what play it was. I got carried away. But the tribute they did for Eddie Lacy, throwing the 2s up, man, that's love right there. Speaking of Eddie Lacy, with Ole Miss coming up, we'll never forget how the game ended last year. in overtime, the winning catch from Eddie Late from himself. Rest in peace, Kyron Lacey. Rest in peace to you. What else happened in this game? Juwan Johnson led in receiving, 8 carries for 43 yards, 2 touchdowns. Harlan Berry also had 7 carries for 28 yards. Meanwhile, what else? Bower Sharp, 5 catches for 73 yards. Barian Brown had 5 catches for 54 yards. Kyle Parker, 4 catches for 52 yards. And Xavier Thomas, 2 catches for 26 yards. And all 4 of them got a touchdown with that. Meanwhile, on the defense, Deshaun Spears led 4 total tackles and 4 solo, while the defense alone, 46 total tackles, 24 solo, 7 tackles for a loss, and 4 sacks, courtesy of 2 sacks from Damian Shanklin, 1 from Dylan Carpenter, and Jacobian Guillory and Jack Pyron together with a sack. This was a total belt to ass whooping right here, and I left at halftime with this one. Great tune-up game to get ready to go back in SEC play. And only the second time this season LSU hits the road, and it's a rivalry game, folks. We're going to Oxford, just like Tulane did last week, to take on an undefeated 4-0 Ole Miss Rebels, number 13 in the country. And this rivalry is about to get more interesting. They're not just playing for the Magnolia Bowl, not this Louisiana versus Mississippi, whatnot. Lane Kiffin's daughter is got some relationship with our star linebacker, Whit Weeks, all of a sudden. This was all new news to us. I said, now they're stirring the pot for the Magnolia Bowl. This is going to be something they're going to talk about for years. Don't claim Ole Miss out. I mean, since the start of the season, they look at these numbers here. Quarterback Trinidad Chambliss, 719 total passing yards this season, 4 touchdown passes. He also had 36 carries for 195 rushing yards as well, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Kawan Lacey leads in rushing for Ole Miss, 79 carries, 358 total rushing yards, and 7 total rushing touchdowns this season. Harrison Wallace, the third, leads in receiving, 16 catches for 343 yards this season and 2 touchdowns. Linebacker Jaden Yates leads with 10 solo tackles, 19 assists, and 29 total tackles for Ole Miss's defense. This is going to be a dogfight. Plus, it's the oldest rivalry one of the oldest rivalries in the SEC. One of the oldest. It's going to be the 111th meeting. LSU leads this rivalry with 64 wins, 42 losses, and 4 ties. And LSU's won 7 of the last 10. Yeah, they had to vacate some wins from 2012 to 2014, but I didn't go that far back. This is going to be a hell of a fight. But this was one of them games some people have predicted if LSU were to take a loss. Some of them were the same people that said they were going to lose to Clemson. And look what happened. We exposed them to show that we're the Rift Death Valley. So get back.
Get back. Get back.
This is going to be a hell of a game. LSU and Ole Miss, always something close to watch. LSU walks away with the win. LSU goes 5-0. Score prediction? Well, to be honest with you, 35-31. LSU wins, 35-31. That's my final score, Regis. But before I get any further, let's talk about the future of LSU real quick. Because we've been seeing the preach for weeks about they want to put LSEC teams in 9 game schedules, but each SEC team was going to have 3 permanent opponents in the near future. Well, before I reveal those, this was just something I'm going to read from the ESPN app. But the SEC is set. They made it set yesterday. It was actually set yesterday. Yesterday was the 22nd, and they were going to reveal today, which today's the 23rd. They revealed it. The new 9-game schedule for 2026 for the all SEC teams. Plus, it will feature an overhaul in how the schedule will traditionally work. The biggest mystery was for certain teams, like who were going to be their 3 main opponents, mainly for all of them. And some are going to be set. As of right now, this deal is going to work for the next 4 years. It's going to start in 2026, and if it goes very successful until 2029, then either they'll keep it that way, or they're talking about making plans of changing the 3 opponents every 3 years. Like they've been skeptical with how all this is going to work. But as of right now, they got a 4-year deal with each SEC team getting 3 opponents they're going to play every single year, where everyone else they're going to rotate every other year or once every few years. But the repeat opponents are balanced by the teams playing each league opponent every 2 years. A far cry from the SEC's old divisional play is when teams could go 6 seasons without playing each other. And yes, some traditions, rivalries will be broken. I mean, since the bringing of Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC, they were to kill a few rivalries, like LSU killed the rivalry of Auburn. That was actually the only rival they killed, because I don't consider Mississippi State really a rivalry. But now with how this works, they're killing the rivalry of Florida, and they're killing the rivalry of Alabama. And a lot of people are not happy about that. And I'm going to get to that in a bit, real talk. But let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to shorten this out. Here's going to be the annual SEC opponents for all 18 teams. Let me pull this off. As you can see, we're going to go in alphabetical order. We're going to start from the top. So Alabama's 3 annual opponents. 2 out of the 3 are big rivals. You can't go without the Iron Bowl. You got to play that yearly. So Auburn's locked in. Tennessee and Alabama is another big rivalry. They call it the 3rd Saturday in October. That's locked in. But their 3rd annual opponent's going to be Mississippi State. And people don't below this, but yes, Mississippi State and Alabama is a rivalry, but it's not too big. What I mean not too big is that, to be honest with you, I think Mississippi State might be one of the only SEC teams. Before we had Texas and Oklahoma jump in, they were one of the only ones, maybe Arkansas too, and maybe Kentucky, that's never beat Alabama with Nick Saban over there. Auburn's done it. Florida's done it. Georgia's done it. We've done it. A&M's done it. Tennessee done it. Ole Miss done it. Did South Carolina do it? I don't think so. I don't think Vanderbilt definitely didn't do it. And I don't think Missouri did it either. So damn near majority, about 70% of the SEC has beaten Nick Saban at least once. But I guess because Starkville and Tuscaloosa are so close to each other, like a 3-hour drive. Last I saw the series of this rivalry, Alabama's up so big. I think I don't even recall how many times Mississippi State has beaten Alabama, and I don't know when was the last time they've ever beaten them. It's been a long time because it was before Nick Saban got there. And I know a lot of people are not happy about not having us up there because LSU and Alabama has always been competitive. And the rivalry became more personal when Nick Saban left LSU, went to the Miami Dolphins for a year or 2, and came back to college to coach one of our rivals in Alabama. And he was there from 2007 to 2024. So that's kind of a sad thing there. Arkansas, I'm kind of shocked with this one because, first off, you got us. That's a lock in. We played for the Golden Boot. Texas and Arkansas, you're going back to the Southwest Conference days, the Southwest Conference. Yeah, Texas and Arkansas was a big rivalry back then. You put it in there. But then you think Texas A&M, the Southwest Classic, they would play at Jerry's World. No, they dropped that rivalry, and then they're newly rival with Missouri, the battle line. I guess it's gotten personal. They put that as a lock-in. I mean, that's kind of crazy. I don't consider the battle line that big of a freaking deal of a rivalry, to be honest with you. Auburn, 2 out of these 3 are definitely, the Iron Bowl, that's a lock-in. Good old-fashioned hate with Georgia. That's the oldest college rivalry in the South. That's a lock-in, but damn, Vanderbilt? Is Vandy and Auburn really a rivalry? I mean, am I missing something else? Who else did Auburn have in the SEC as a rival besides Georgia, Alabama, and even us? Yeah, the Tiger Bowl's been gone, but Vanderbilt? They really had no other options for them? I don't know. Florida, I can see. Yeah, I mean, I get you had to drop the LSU rivalry. I mean, I see two rivalries locked in. Georgia, you got to have that rivalry. That's a lock in. South Carolina's a rivalry too. That's a lock in. Kentucky, is Kentucky and Florida really a rivalry here? What about who was I? I was bringing up some. What about Tennessee? Tennessee and Florida's a rivalry. They killed that one. Anyhow, Kentucky, like I said, Florida, Kentucky, not a rivalry. Oh, that skipped Georgia? No, Georgia. This might be the only one that makes sense. Well, that makes sense for Georgia because that's three rivals right there. So they got Georgia completely right. Kentucky, like I mentioned, Florida is the only one I'm concerned about. Tennessee is a lock-in. Tennessee and Kentucky's a rivalry. South Carolina's a you should have put Vandy up there. That's who Vandy should have had. Vandy and Kentucky's also a rival. Why didn't they put Vanderbilt in there? Why had to put Florida? No telling. And then ours, I'm not going to complain about ours, but that's three rivals right there. Arkansas, that's the go to boot. Lock in. Ole Miss, Magnolia Bowl Trophy, lock in. But you had three options for the third one. You had A&M, Alabama, and Florida. Everyone wanted Alabama, but we got A&M. No Texas, Louisiana thing. I mean, it is what it is. But this rivalry didn't really get more personal until after that 7 overtime loss in College Station, I think. But hey, we got a Texas team up there. I mean, and how's this going to work now when this starts in 2026? We better close out with Arkansas. If we're going to have Arkansas in this 3 annual opponent rivalry, we need to close out on rivalry week with Arkansas because you can't close out with Ole Miss. They got the Egg Bowl. You can't close out with A&M. That's the Lone Star Showdown. You got to close out with Arkansas. Arkansas better not close out with Missouri. I'll get to Missouri in a bit. Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Egg Bowl, lock in. The other two, golly, Mississippi State and Vandy. And then, of course, Alabama. That one don't make sense to me. You know what? I want to pull up. I got to do this real quick. I want to see what they have listed as Mississippi State's rivals in football besides Ole Miss. Auburn, LSU, and Alabama, Auburn, LSU, Ole Miss. So you got 2 out of 3 right. Like I said, Vanderbilt, you could have put Auburn. But y'all both got stuck with Vanderbilt. So Mississippi State should have had Auburn in there. Auburn's 3 should have been Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi State. Mississippi State should have been Ole Miss, Alabama, Auburn. And like I said, Alabama should have had us instead of Mississippi State. And we should have had Alabama instead of Texas A&M. You know what? I got to pull Florida's up now. I mean, they're going to probably have a bunch of damn non-rivals like Miami and Florida State. All right. Let's see. Florida, Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Kentucky, LSU, and Tennessee. They got Georgia. Like I said, Georgia's locked in. Auburn's locked in. South Carolina's not even a rival. You should have did Tennessee. Should have did Tennessee. Florida. Let me look at fuck it. I might as well look at Georgia too. Georgia's got Alabama, Auburn, Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, Vanderbilt. All right, so Georgia's okay. Georgia's fine. Meanwhile, Missouri, you got Arkansas, Texas A&M, Oklahoma. Arkansas, you got it. The battle line, that's lock in. Oklahoma, if you're going back to the Big 12 days, that's lock in. Was A&M a rival when they were in the Big 12? You know what? I'm going to go look at that too. I'll pull up Mizzou. They have listed as their rivals from the SEC, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and South Carolina. See what you should have. South Carolina. Are you gonna? I guess they're gonna try and form a rivalry with A&M. No telling. Oklahoma. See, that's another one that 2 out of 3 you got right. Texas, you can't go without the Red River rivalry at the Texas State Fair every year. That's a lock in. Missouri is a lock in. But Ole Miss. I mean, you had nobody else to put from the SEC. So, I mean, are they going to try and start a new rivalry with Ole Miss here? South Carolina's is good too. Georgia, Florida, Kentucky, that's the lock in. Tennessee, I get two. Matter of fact, these are all 3 rivals. These are all 3 lock-ins for Tennessee. Alabama, 3rd Saturday in October, lock in. Vanderbilt, the bragging rights for the state of Tennessee, that's a lock in. Kentucky, I get it. They're rivals too, lock in, but then that also leaves out. You'd have to kill the Florida rivalry. So, I mean, Tennessee got it right. Texas is probably Texas is just like Florida and possibly us to get it locked in. And maybe you could say Arkansas too. Texas got it completely right. You can't have a season without those 3. The A&M rivalry, Lone Star Showdown, we finally got it back. That's a lock in. Arkansas, if you're taking it back to the Southwest Classic, that's a lock in. Oklahoma, Red River rivalry, of course, you can't live without that either. That's a lock in. So Texas did it right. A&M technically did it right too. I mean, that's 3. 2 out of 3, because I said they're not really rivals with Mizzou. LSU lock in, Texas lock in. Unless they try to form a rival with Mizzou. And then finally, Vanderbilt, Auburn, Tennessee, and Mississippi State. Auburn is a rivalry. That's a lock in. Tennessee, of course, your in-state rival. That's a lock in. But Mississippi State, that's still a question mark to me. How much history did Mississippi State and Vanderbilt really have? I mean, I guess they ran out of ideas with rivalries because, yeah, like I said, they're not a rival at all unless they want to make something new. So this is your annual opponents from 2026 to 2029. You're going to see for the next 4 years as they try this out, and it could be successful. They might keep it this way. But for some teams like Alabama and whatnot, what are we going to do about that? Well, this next picture I'm going to show you, here's the topic right here. I'm going to reveal LSU's SEC opponents for the next 4 years. And I think you're going to be okay with Alabama because look at 2026. You got your main 3, A&M at home, at Arkansas, and at Ole Miss. We got Alabama next year. They're coming to Death Valley. It's coming. Mississippi State's coming back. We haven't had them in a few years. And finally, you can bet your ass I'm going to be there. We finally got Arch Manning if he don't go to the draft. And the Texas Longhorns, we were supposed to get them after 2019, and we never did. We haven't played them Longhorns since we beat them in Austin. They're finally coming to Death Valley. I don't know when, but I'm going to mark it on my calendar. I'll be at that game before I be at the Clemson game week 1. Bet your ass I'm going to be there against them Shorthorns. Hopefully Arch Manning is still playing by then. I can see him play as a Longhorn. 2027 at A&M. They host Arkansas. They host Ole Miss. Oh, I'm sorry. Also in 2026, we get to play Auburn again. We go to Auburn, we go to Kentucky, and we go to Tennessee. 2027, we go to A&M. We host Arkansas. We host Ole Miss. Missouri comes to town. Vandy comes back. And Oklahoma comes back. Missouri, it's been a little while since they came to Death Valley. But Vanderbilt and Oklahoma came last year. And we go to Florida. We go to Georgia. It's been a while since we went to Athens. And we go back to South Carolina like we did last year. 2028, host A&M, host Arkansas. Go to Arkansas and go to Ole Miss. Auburn comes back. That's the game they come to us. 2026, we go to Jordan Hare. Kentucky come to us, and Tennessee And then we go to Alabama, we go to Mississippi State, and we go to Texas. And then 2029, same thing except opposite. At A&M, host Arkansas, host Ole Miss, host Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. Then they go to Missouri and Oklahoma. And they're kind of doing like high school football in Louisiana. Like you play the same opponents every 2 years, but they rotate. That's kind of like what they're doing right here. Literally. I'm just realizing that. But it's going to be every other year. So whoever we play at home in 2026, we're going there in 2028. Whoever we play on the road in 26 comes to Death Valley in 28. Same thing with 27 and 29. So I see it now as you're looking at the picture here. That's how they're going to do it. And I was supposed to show this picture a long ass time ago. But within the next 4 years, this is what the Power 5 is going to look like in the near future. I mean, that's including the newest edition of the Pac-12. Nothing changed with the SEC, the Big Ten, the ACC, and the Big 12 in the last 2 years. But the Pac-12, you'll have UTSA, Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, Gonzaga, San Diego State, Utah State, and Texas State joining with Oregon State and Washington State. This will be the Power 5 for the next 4 years as well. And my God, that is going to be a hell of some college football at that time. So you saw all that. I did all my talk here in Tigerland. Let's continue this show forward. Let's go take it to my neck of the woods. Let's go to the 337. I ain't going to be happy to talk about what's going to happen in this area because both teams took some L's. Start with the Raging Cajuns. Heartbreaking loss to Eastern Michigan. They lost 34-31 over the Eagles. A couple numbers in this game: 21 first downs, 441 total yards, 227 passing yards, 214 total rushing yards. Ever since Walker Howard got hurt, this team has just been down under. Daniel Beal, another bad night for him. Yeah, he went 20 for 33. He threw 222 passing yards and 2 interceptions. All the touchdowns in the game were rushing touchdowns or field goals. He did not throw one touchdown pass at all in this game. That's all the numbers I have. I didn't watch a single play of this game. But what's next for the Raging Cajuns? Well, they go into conference play. They're now, I think they're 1-3 now. Their only win of the season was against McNeese, week 2. So the Cajuns are now 1-3. They get ready to go into conference play in the Sun Belt. And they welcome back Marshall. Marshall's coming back to Cajun Field. Last week, they win 42-28 over Mid-Tennessee. They're now 2-2 of the season. Couple impact players to watch. Quarterback Carlos Del Rio Wilson, 379 total passing yards this season, 6 touchdown passes, and was sacked 4 times. Michael Allen leads in rushing for the Thunder and Herd this season, 28 carries, 135 total rushing yards, and 1 touchdown. DeMarcus Lacey leads in receiving for Marshall, 10 catches, 129 total receiving yards, and a touchdown this season. And then on the defense, Kieran Martin at linebacker, 14 solo tackles, 11 assists, and 25 total tackles this season for him on Marshall's defense. This is only going to be the 4th meeting. But here's crazy how they first met back in the New Orleans Bowl 4 years ago. Raging Cajuns won that game. The only time UL went to Huntington to play them at Marshall, I think it was the following year, the Cajuns won over there. This will be the 4th meeting. Their Cajuns lead this 2-1. The only time Marshall ever beat the Cajuns was last year, where they came to Cajun Field for the first time ever, and they played in the Sun Belt Championship. Marshall beat the Cajuns to win the Sun Belt, and that's when they optioned out to go to the Independence Bowl. The coach was gone, and all them players optioned not to play and got option not to play in that bowl game, and they got replaced by Louisiana Tech. And it was Louisiana Tech and Army in the Independence Bowl. Gonna be some type of game, but I feel like Marshall is like I think Marshall is the favorite. Ever since Walker Howard got hurt, the Cajuns have been like severe downhill. This is kind of a pretty even matchup. Closely, Marshall is favored. 51% predict Marshall's going to win on the road. But you know what? I'm all in for miracles. I think maybe the Cajuns could pull this off. I'm going to have them win something close to this score. They lost 34-31 last week. I could see this being like a 27-24 Cajuns win at home. See if they can bounce back. Meanwhile, I called this. McNeese is just getting worse, man. They got their ass kicked 48-7 at Utah State. They now dropped 1-3 of the season. They had in this game against Utah State, they had 13 first downs, 239 total yards, 130 passing, 109 rushing. Not a good day for Jake Strong. He went 7 for 23, and he only had 89 passing yards. He did have one touchdown pass to Jonathan Harris for 20 yards. The only touchdown thrown in the game. The defense, though, 81 total tackles, 31 solo, 1 sack, courtesy of Amari Sibley, and 1 tackle for a loss. I ain't going to cut it. You gave up 48 points. And now you're going into conference play this Saturday. You're going on the road again. You're going to Nacogdoches, Texas, to play Stephen F. Austin, who made their return to the Southland Conference last year. Now, last week, Lumberjacks got a win 35-17 over Cal Poly. They're now 2-2 of the season. Impact players for Stephen F. Austin, quarterback Sam Vidlak, 686 total passing yards this season, 4 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions. Jarrell Wimbley leads in rushing for the Lumberjacks, 29 carries, 208 total rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. Kylan Harris leads in receiving at 19 receptions for 185 yards and a touchdown. And on the defense, Jayden Southard, 13 solo tackles, 19 assists, and 32 total tackles this season. 36 meeting, but McNeese leads this rivalry at 21 wins, 13 losses, and 1 draw. They're going to have to pull a rabbit out their ass if they want to keep this going, because I feel like Stephen F. Austin's going to pull this off at the last minute. I could see this being low scoring. And I got Stephen F. Austin winning this game like 17-10. And McNeese losing another one, and that will be their first conference loss of the season. So that's all I got for that. Let's go recap what happened around the boot before I wrap this up in the Lone Star State and we get to our college predictions. We'll start with Louisiana Tech. The Bulldogs coming off a 30-20 win over their rival Southern Miss. They go hit the road. They got a long road trip ahead of them this Saturday. They go to El Paso, take on UTEP. 8 p.m. kickoff on ESPN Plus. Give me the Bulldogs to get another win and improve to 4-1. Speaking of UTEP, they played UL Monroe last week. Shout out to them Warhawks. They beat UTEP 31-25. So now they got to go play their arch rival after that. UL Monroe 2-1 of the season. That's pretty good. They don't get that a lot up there. They're coming back at home this Saturday. They got a rivalry game themselves. They welcome in Arkansas State. They go into conference play. 2 p.m. kickoff on ESPN Plus. Arkansas State coming in 1-3. You know what? Give me the Warhawks. I think they can pull it off. Come on, UL Monroe. Shock us all. Southeastern coming off there at that ass-whooping LSU. They'll be back at home this Saturday. They welcome in the newest comer of the Southland Conference, the Vaqueros of UT Rio Grande Valley. And we're going to see if this team is what they really are. All these dominant ass whoopings they've been given to these Division II and Division III schools in the state of Texas. Now they get their first taste of conference play because they're 4-0. They're undefeated, but we're going to see how good this team really is. I'll give it to Southeastern. They put 10 points up against LSU. They did make us nervous in the first quarter. So, yeah, they're 2-2. UT Rio Grande Valley's undefeated, but I think they're going to expose the Vaqueros. Give me the Lions to beat UT Rio Grande Valley and really expose them. Meanwhile, Nichols coming off a 35-3 loss to Texas State. They're going to be on the road. Actually, they're going to be on the road the next 4 weeks in a row. This will be the second of 4 straight road games. They go to Eastern Kentucky up there in Richmond, Kentucky. I don't even know. What is Eastern Kentucky's mascot? The Colonels. The Colonels of Eastern Kentucky. So it's the Battle of the Colonels. Nicholls State versus Eastern Kentucky. So 5 p.m. kickoff on ESPN Plus. Both teams are coming in 1-3. I'm gonna go with the Nickel Colonels here. Let's just kind of see how bad some of these losses were for the other Colonels. They lost to Louisville 51-17, and they lost to West Georgia 33-12 and Marshall 38-7. They barely beat Houston Christian, so they have beaten a Southland Conference team this season. But I'm gonna go with Nicholls. I think they can pull it off. We'll give them some love there. Northwestern State, heartbreaking loss to Prairie View A&M, 27-24. They're now 1-3 of the season. They're going to be they're going to be on a bye week. So Northwestern State's on a bye, but their next game, they'll be back at home October 4th to welcome as of right now, a winless East Texas A&M team. East Texas A&M actually got North Carolina Central next. So the Lions might come into Natchitoches with a winless record. So enjoy that. I would say enjoy that bye, but get ready, get the rest you need, get prepared, because when that week comes, I'm gonna pick Northwestern State to beat East Texas A&M. So Northwestern State's on a bye. Grambling coming off a win over East Texas A&M, 31-28, and they got a rivalry game coming up. They head to Dallas. They go to the Cotton Bowl to play the Panthers of Prairie View A&M. I wonder what they call this rivalry, because I wonder why do they play this rivalry in Dallas? Don't say. Here we go. The State Fair Classic. So what? They play 2 games at the State Fair? They play this, and then the next week they play Texas, Oklahoma? That kind of makes sense now. And plus, I didn't realize the Texas State Fair was a 2-week event. So that's new to me. Now that makes a lot more sense. Because I've always wondered, okay, why are they playing a team from North Louisiana, an HBCU team from North Louisiana, and an HBCU from north of Houston in Dallas? They play it at the State Fair. So they play 2 football games at the State Fair. Again, that 1 week, and then the following week, you got the Red River rivalry with Oklahoma and Texas. All right, we got that locked in. And finally, Southern coming off a bye week, because I forgot they had a bye week. They got the Boombox Classic this Saturday. The game with Jackson State. I thought it was last Saturday, the night LSU played Southeastern. No. Traffic was still bad, though. No, the Boombox Classic is this Saturday in Baton Rouge. And I said Jackson State was going to win that. Jackson State's 2-1. Southern's 1-3. I'm going with the Jackson State Tigers in this one. So that's our recap around the boot. Let's take it. Let me just go ahead and say it off a limb now. Houston, we have a major problem here, and I'm going to explain why. Let's go to the 713 right now. Welcome to the land where it just don't stop. Trunks pop, tops drops in the front end hot. But Houston, we have a fucking problem. Those 5 teams I cover, well, you put the NA basketball season, so the Rockets can move to the side. The Houston Cougars were on a bye week, so they can move to the side. But you see those 2 on the top, the one at the very top, and the second one on the right? Y'all 2 got a problem. I got a problem with y'all 2 right now. But let me give some love real quick because I've been shit-talking one team for the last damn month. And they're the only one that got me a damn win this week. Shout out to the Houston Dynamo. Yeah, your season's about to end in a bit, but you got a win. You got a win. It's been forever. I thought y'all wasn't going to win another game when the season wraps up in mid-October. Well, when was the last time y'all won a game? August 30th. It's been 4 weeks. Last time y'all got a win was August 30th until this past Saturday. You win 1-0 over the Portland Timbers, a team that once was the dominant in MLS. Put you now at 9 wins, 9 draws, and 13 losses in 10th in the Western Conference. Season's going to be ending in a bit. You got 3 games left. But let's recap this W real quick. I'm going to stay positive about y'all right now. 54% possession, 7 shots on goal, 21 shot attempts, 11 fouls, 5 yellow cards, 11 corner kicks, and 3 saves. The only goal scored was in 44 minutes of play. Ezekiel Ponce hit a header from the center of the box to the bottom right corner, assisted by Jack McGlynn himself with a cross following the corner kick. Y'all, I haven't watched the damn Dynamo game in 2 to 3 months. Y'all look good with what I saw in the highlights. Y'all got 3 games left. Can y'all finish off strong? Y'all probably won't. I'll be lucky if y'all get one more win the rest of the season. You got Nashville this Saturday in Nashville. Your final home game, October 4th, with San Diego, who is, the last I checked, was the number 1 team in the West. And you wrap up the regular season at Kansas City on the 18th of October. Not the season we wanted for our 20-year anniversary as a franchise. Shit happens. Speaking of shit, I wasn't going to talk shit about this right here, but let's talk about the Houston Astros because you guys are on thin ice making the playoffs right now. You guys, in your last home series of the regular season, you got embarrassed by the Seattle Mariners, who just now need 3 more wins to clinch the division. And if they clinch it, you will barely get in the playoffs. You're going to need a lot of help. You currently are 84-72. You're 2nd in the AL West. You're 7th in the American League, and you're 12th overall in Major League Baseball. I feel like the only way you're going to get in is you got to win out. You cannot lose another game. You got 3 games against the A's today through Thursday, and then you got your final 3-game series this weekend in Anaheim, the 26th through the 28th. You guys are on thin ice. It's not looking good. I feel like if they lose one more game, it's over. They're not getting in the playoffs. But that's not the magic. That's not the horrific number. I think it's if they lose, I think at least 3. 3 is the magic number for Seattle to win the division. Their number to not make the playoffs, I think, is like 3 or 4 more losses. But we're going to look at this real quick. We're going to look at the division standings right now. The American League is pretty much locked in right now, but it's coming down to either the Blue Jays or the Yankees in the AL East. They both clinched the playoffs, but one's going to win that division. The Boston Red Sox are fighting for a wild card spot. Rays and the Orioles already eliminated. While the Central, it looks like it's going to come down to the Guardians and the Tigers. They both have the same record, 85-72. Kansas City trying as well to get a wild card. Twins and the White Sox, their season's wrapped up. While in the AL West, I mean, like I said, the Mariners, they just need a couple more wins. They win the division. We're trying to fight for a wild card. The Rangers, I'm shocked they're still in this hunt. While they're 79-77, I'm shocked they didn't get eliminated after we swept them. The A's and the Angels, their seasons are wrapped up. While in the East, the Phillies locked in the division. The Mets and the Marlins are still fighting for a wild card spot. Braves and the Nationals already eliminated from playoff contention. While in the Central, locked in with the Brewers. By the way, the Brewers got the best record in baseball right now. They're 95-62. The Cubs clinched the playoffs. The Reds and the Cardinals are fighting for a wild card while the Pirates are out. And then finally in the NL West, the Dodgers and the Padres have both clinched the playoff berth, but they're fighting for a division title. It's looking like the Dodgers could need like 1 or 2 more wins to lock it in. The Diamondbacks and the Giants are still fighting for a wild card, but I don't see either that making it. Colorado was the first team already out back in early ass August. They're now 43 and 113. Holy shit. That's all I got talk for the Astros. And all I'm going to say, don't lose another game if you really, really want to get into the playoffs. But I feel like they're gonna lose one. I know. And the rest of their games this season are going to be late 9 o'clock starts, except their final series games with both the A's and the Angels. Those are going to be 2 o'clock games. So as of right now, top of the third, it's tied 1-1 as of right now. All right, and let me wrap. Oh, I'm not wrap up. We still got a few more to talk about. But man, I got a bone to pick with these sons of bitches. The Houston Texans 17-10 loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. 271 total yards, 184 passing, 87 total rushing. Not going to cover it. CJ Stroud, 25 for 38, 204 passing yards. He did throw one 50-yard bomber to Nico Collins, but he had 2 interceptions. That ain't going to cover it. But you're going to blame the offensive line, which I'm going to blame the offensive line too. CJ Stroud still ain't shit. They need better protection like the Cincinnati Bengals too. And now you got your arch rival this Saturday, the Tennessee Titans, who came off a 41-20 loss to the Colts. They're also winless. Plus, they're 0-1 in the AFC South. 47th meeting all time. Tennessee leads this 24-22. Impact players, Cam Ward, 506 passing yards, 2 touchdown passes this season and an interception. Tony Pollard leads in rushing, 54 carries for 197 yards and a touchdown. Chris Okonkwo leads in receiving, 12 receptions and 120 receiving yards. And Cody Barton and linebacker leads on the defense with 12 solo tackles, 8 assists, and 20 total tackles. Plus Xavier Woods at safety has 1 interception this season. I'm going to say this off the limb, and I'm going to be honest with you. This is where we hit the panic button if they don't win this game, and I feel like we're going to have to hit it because I don't trust CJ Stroud enough. That offensive line is going to keep struggling. I feel like Titans are going to pull an upset. I wouldn't even call it an upset. They're both together, shit together. Tennessee's going to probably win this game, and then we press the panic button on the Houston Texans. For the Saints, we wait till they play the Giants because we already know they're going to get their ass kicked by the Buffalo Bills. But if they cannot beat the Giants next week at home, then we hit the panic button on the Saints, and I'm going to talk about that again tomorrow. I need to get that frustration out of the way because I want to finish off on a good note before we get to some predictions. I got to talk about the Houston Cougars real quick, but I want to talk about another sport. I want to talk about the basketball team real quick. Remember a couple of weeks ago, I dropped their non-conference schedule? Well, guess what? I now have their Big 12 conference schedule for the 2025-26 season, and here it is right here. I actually got it right here. Let's take a look at it. So they got 9 home games at Fertitta and 9 road games for the Big 12. January 3rd, they go to Cincinnati. January 6th, they're at home with Texas Tech. They go to Baylor January 10th. Then back-to-back home games, West Virginia January 13th, Arizona State January 18th. Then they got back-to-back road games at Texas Tech January 24th, at TCU January 28th. January 31st and February 4th, back-to-back home games, Cincinnati and UCF. February 7th and February 10th, back-to-back road games again. They go to BYU and they go to Utah. Valentine's Day, bring your loved one to the Fertitta Center. Go watch some Cougs basketball as they play Kansas State. February 16th, they go to Iowa State. February 21st, they host Arizona. February 23rd, mark your calendar for that one. If that's a Saturday game, watch College Game Day go there. They go to Lawrence and play them Kansas Jayhawks. February 28th and March 4th, back-to-back home games, Colorado, and wrap up the regular season at home with Baylor. And then they wrap up Big 12 play at Oklahoma State on March 7th. It's going to be a lot of good games to watch right here. A couple teams you better watch out for. You better watch out for Texas Tech. You better watch out for Baylor. TCU might not be a problem. Iowa State may not be a problem. Colorado may not be a problem. Oklahoma State may not be a problem. Arizona, watch them, and you better watch Kansas. Like those are going to be the key games to must wins right there against those opponents. So that gets me more excited to get ready for college basketball. But speaking of the Houston Cougars, they're coming off a bye week. They've been kicking ass. They're undefeated 3-0, and they got another Friday night game, late start time. They got Oregon State this Friday night, 9:30 p.m. on ESPN. They're taking on the Beavers of Oregon State, who are winless right now. They're 0-4, coming off a 41-7 loss to the Oregon Ducks. A couple of impact players again. Malik Murphy at quarterback. He had 964 passing yards this season, 6 touchdown passes, but 5 interceptions. Anthony Hankerson leads in rushing, 65 carries for 228 total rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Trent Walker leads in receiving with 23 receptions and 302 receiving yards. And on the defense, Skylar Thomas, a defensive back, leads with 14 solo tackles, 17 assists, and 31 total tackles. And Jalil Tucker, at defensive back, has only 1 interception this season for the Beavers. It's going to be I think they got this one locked in. I'm confident they're going to win this one. And then they'll be undefeated in non-conference play. And then after that, I think they get ready for conference play after that in the Big 12. So that wraps up my talk for Houston talk. We're going to go ahead and finish off tonight's show. We'll do a quick recap of college football from week 4, and then we'll wrap up with predictions. So, like I said, Tulsa shocked the world, beat Oklahoma State, got Mike fired. Memphis upsetting Arkansas. Arkansas, y'all cost me money in my fucking parlay on FanDuel, by the way. Clemson, another loss. That's it. Y'all are not Death Valley. You lost to Syracuse? Syracuse? Clemson fans already.
There is no passion, there is no vision, there is no aggression, there is no fucking mindset in this football club. Nothing is there. What the hell is there in this football club? Tell me now.
That was Clemson fans since Saturday. And I think I saw a video. They were already in the third quarter against Syracuse, and it looked like they had no one in Memorial Stadium. It's like Clemson games are zero fun to go to.
Yes.
Sir.
Yes. No.
No?
Sir. Well, it was fun.
Not anymore, though, is it? Is it?
No, not by
No, it's not fun anymore.
No.
Not even a little bit.
No.
Make up your mind.
No.
Think. Since you're thinking now, go on. Think.
No,
Is
no.
it fun?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Absolutely not?
Zero fun, sir.
All right. Let's.
Zero fun times in Clemson, let me tell you. The Iron Skillet, TCU, SMU, great game right there. Civil War, Oregon blew out Oregon State. Auburn, Oklahoma, that was a fun game to watch right there. I think it was the Auburn quarterback. He used to play at Oklahoma. He transferred to Auburn. But thoughts and prayers go out to the Oklahoma's quarterback. I forgot his name. He might be out for the season, and he had to have surgery on his hand. So Oklahoma wasn't a dominant role. They were in the top 25, and their season might be shattered after losing their starting quarterback. Michigan, Nebraska. Michigan, despite all the shit they're going through, kind of exposed Nebraska. Nebraska, what they say they are. Notre Dame killing Purdue. UCF killing North Carolina. What else happened? South Carolina, Missouri. South Carolina, another team that cost me a parlay. That was a really good game. Lenore Seller, but my God, negative, what was it? Negative 37 rushing yards? No, South Carolina. That's not going to cut it, man. Miami getting a win over Florida, and Billy Napier still having a job. Baylor and Arizona State was another good game, but Baylor cost me a parlay. That's all the news I got. That recap week 4 of college football. But let's go ahead and wrap this show up. Let's get some predictions ready for week 5 of college football. We got a couple. I think these 2 games right here are Friday night games. We'll start with Florida State and Virginia. Florida State making a comeback ever since they beat Alabama. They're now, I think, number 8 in the top 25. Give me the Noles. Noles beat Virginia. First ACC game, too, I think, of the season for Florida State. TCU and Arizona State. This one kind of a toss-up. I got a thing for them Horned Frogs, so give me a TCU over Arizona State. Besides, back to the Florida State-Virginia matchup. Virginia hasn't beaten Florida State since 2019, but Florida State going to win that one. Georgia Tech and Wake Forest. I think Wake Forest might be a surprising team, but I'm going to go with the Yellow Jackets. I got Georgia Tech over Wake Forest. USC at Illinois. I feel like this might be a good game to watch. This might be a high-scoring game, but I'm going to go with USC. Notre Dame at Arkansas. I hope Notre Dame runs their ass over. Marcus Freeman and the Irish. Give me the Irish. Rutgers and Minnesota. Another matchup I think could be a great one, but I'm going to go with Minnesota here. Duke and Syracuse. Man, if this were been a basketball game, I'd have picked Syracuse by a long shot. But Duke's kind of been improving lately. I'm going with the Duke Blue Devils, unfortunately. Louisville and Pitt. I feel like it'll be another back-and-forth matchup for an ACC game, but give me Pitt over Louisville. Cincinnati and Kansas. I got Kansas by a mile. Kansas is going to crush Cincinnati. Utah State and Vanderbilt. Diego Pavia, man. He's a bad boy. Give me Vandy. Vandy beats Utah State. Ohio State and Washington. This is going to be an interesting one down in Seattle. 13th meeting. Ohio State did win the last 4, but the last time Washington beat Ohio State was back in 1994, and it was in Seattle. But unfortunately, it breaks my heart to say I got to go with the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think Washington makes it close, but I'm going to go with Ohio State in a close one. Auburn and Texas A&M, 16th meeting overall. Auburn won 6 of the last 10. Last time they beat A&M in College Station was back in 2019. This was a flip a coin for me, but I'm going to go with the Aggies at home. Indiana and Iowa. I feel like Indiana's going to beat the shit out of the Hawkeyes at home. Tennessee and Mississippi State, 48th meeting. Tennessee won 8 of the last 10. Last time Mississippi State beat Tennessee was back in 2012. Mississippi State, they're undefeated right now, but I think they're about to get exposed. Tennessee's going to beat the shit out of the Bulldogs. Give me Tennessee. Arizona and Iowa State. My pick to win the Big 12, I'm going with Iowa State over Arizona. College game day is going to Happy Valley for Oregon and Penn State. 6th overall meeting. They've played in their history, they've played in 2 bowl games against each other. The 1960 Liberty Bowl and the 1995 Rose Bowl, which, by the way, were both won by Penn State. The last time they met was in last year's Big Ten Championship, where Oregon beat Penn State. And this will be the first time ever they're going to meet in a conference game in regular season. Conference game matchup in regular season play. First ever time with these two. It's a night game. You know how they always say, oh, there's nothing like a whiteout at Happy Valley at night. There's nothing like a Saturday night in Death Valley, but I will acknowledge Penn State. Those night whiteout games on TV look fantastic. It takes a lot to get an entire stadium to wear one solid color. LSU can do it with a gold game and a purple game, but Penn State does it all the time for white. So I'll credit Penn State having the second best type of feeling for a night game is a whiteout night in Happy Valley. I'll get that as the second best tradition in college football. But nothing will top a Saturday night in Death Valley over here, baby. But I'm going to go with Penn State. Penn State, they're the number 2 team in the country. Oregon is somewhere in the top 10. I forgot. I think they were like, 6 or 7. I don't know if it's going to be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if Penn State embarrasses Oregon, because Oregon has been embarrassed before in situations like this. So this is the top 25, by the way. Ohio State at 1. Actually, Penn State dropped to 3. Miami moved up to number 2. 3 Penn State, 4 LSU, 5 Georgia, 6 Oregon, 7 Oklahoma, 8 Florida State, 9 Texas A&M, 10 Texas, 11 Indiana, 12 Texas Tech, 13 Ole Miss, 14 Iowa State, 15 Tennessee, 16 Georgia Tech, 17 Alabama, 18 Vanderbilt, 19 Michigan, 20 Missouri, 21 USC, 22 Notre Dame, 23 Illinois, 24 TCU, and 25 BYU. So it's 3 versus 6 top 10 matchup. I'm gonna go with Penn State. Alabama and Georgia. Woo! 75th meeting. And look how this has been the last several years. In the last 13 years, these two teams have played in 4 SEC championship games. In the last 7 years, they've played each other in 2 national championships. In the last 10 years, Bama has won 9 out of 10. But that was under Nick Saban. Nick Saban ain't there no more. Kalen DeBoer's there. This Alabama team has been downfalled. They've had, 4 losses last year? They've already got 1 loss. We did not expect to Florida State. This was the game I said this was going to be their first loss, but now I'm going to have to rephrase that and say this is going to be their second loss of the season. It's in Athens. It's a late night game in Georgia. Give me the Bulldogs to beat the Crimson Tide. Give them their second loss and potentially knock them out of the top 25. Who's that coming down the track? It's the Bee Machine in the red and black. Ain't nothing finer in the land than a drunk, obnoxious Georgia fan. Go Dogs! Go Dogs! Go Dogs! Sing 'em! Georgia over Alabama, baby. 2 more picks and we're done. I swear. Kentucky and South Carolina. Lenore Sellers is back. I can't see them losing 3 in a row. They got embarrassed by Vandy. Close loss to Missouri. This is where they bounce back. It's in Columbia. It's at Williams-Brice. They're going to be playing Sandstorm, rocking it. Give me the Gamecocks to bounce back over Kentucky. And then finally, BYU and Colorado. I don't really care for this one here, but I'm going to take Coach Prime in Colorado to beat BYU. Well, that will wrap up tonight's episode. Be sure to come back tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, my normal time, because I will have a guest. I'm bringing in Jamie Malloy, our Buffalo Bills expert from right here at Drive to the Top Productions, and we're going to preview the Saints' upcoming loss with the Buffalo Bills. It's going to be nasty, but we're going to have fun talking about it. And then I'm going to do my NFL predictions on that show tomorrow night with Jamie. So be sure to tune in. Again, Drive to the Top Productions, great people, great content. Be sure to follow Drive to the Top on all social media. Subscribe to them on YouTube to see all these great content you can get 7 days a week. Plus, you can get me. I'm going to be on my normal day tomorrow night, and I can't wait. So God bless you guys. Thank you. I love you. Y'all have a wonderful week. If you're going to tune in tomorrow, or if not, you can watch it anytime on demand after it drops. But I'm going to tap out for the night, and I will see you all again tomorrow night, myself and Jamie, to preview the Saints and the Bills. Thank y'all. God bless. I'm out. See you tomorrow night, folks.